Winter is a time when you just want to sit back and be warm and cozy, but you'll be able to look in your garden and see the beginnings of new things and see the things that maybe you wish were a little different for next year. Plan ahead for making some changes, but before that, just take some time to appreciate all the tiny little things that are happening right now and that only happen right now, this time of year, that portend the beauty of spring to come. So if I had to pick one plant that you absolutely must have in your garden in winter, it is Daphne odora. It has the most exquisite fragrance. You will never forget it once you smell it, and they have not developed a perfume for it yet. But it is stunning. You end up cutting it and putting it in a vase in your house just to keep smelling it. Evergreen plant that just only comes alive in the winter, absolutely makes winter worth living. Beautiful. So something unexpected is happening this year. We're having a very, very mild winter, and certain plants that are kind of early bloomers, like this foxglove, are in full bloom. Another thing that is also surprising us is a butylon or flowering maple. They've been going since they were planted here in the spring, and it's January and they're loving it. So maybe your perennials are giving you extra boost of color this winter. So hellebores are one of the fabulous winter blooming perennials. They are so tough. Their leaves are like leather. They're almost impervious to anything. And so they're evergreen, except for one variety. These are all evergreen. So in a shady spot or even quite a bit of sun in our climate, they are an evergreen plant that really adds a lot, but especially in our winter and early spring. Lots of different shades of color, but they are just very, very tough plants. And how about perennial fuchsias? Look at this. Here we are. It's January, and we've got all these beautiful little flowers coming on. So our native hummingbirds have some food for this time of year. Fabulous. So anything that is flowering, that has, like the hellebores, with all these huge big stamens for any of our winter insects that need pollen, it's helping feed that whole network. Other wonderful thing about winter is snowberries, the actual berries that show in the winter for our birds and our ornamental pleasure. One of the wonderful native plants for our area. So another thing that we appreciate this time of year for color are the twigs in the landscape, or the trees that have beautiful bark. This is a vine maple called Pacific Fire, and it has the reddest, absolute reddest stems that are just so striking and very vertical and just make an excellent accent piece. The other thing that is so fabulous about the seasons is to celebrate them in containers. And winter is not left out of that equation. Violas are fabulous, violas and pansies. What can you have that will flower all winter long? Violas and pansies. And how about mix them with evergreen ground cover like woolly thyme and this beautiful evergreen fern in this lovely pot, which is top dressed with some very nice, beautiful white stones. Or if you want something a little bit larger, here's a very bright pot for you. Hellebores, another beautiful winter flowering plant that is also with evergreen foliage. It's a fabulous thing to leave as a centerpiece and have other lower plants around it, such as this Muhlenbeckia that will drape over the side. And also we have some dianthus in here. Dianthus is in the carnation family, and that is also an evergreen plant, and they have very early flowers. So it's another one that people don't really think about that much, which makes it kind of fun, very low growing, kind of almost grassy foliage. It's a fabulous cool weather plant that you can switch out for other things later in the season if you want. Couple of ideas to welcome you home in from the cold in the wintertime right by your front door. Don't forget primroses. You might think they're old school. They are, but guess why? They are still fantastic. So many colors of spring. My mother used to put a basket of primroses by her back door under cover, and it was just a collection of different colors, and it was just so refreshing. It's amazing having a flower right there where you walk in out of the cold. It's just so happy. Bring yourself some happiness, get some primroses. So here we have a beautiful contorted quince. Quince is known for its winter flowers that are either pink, some getting into the reds or white, but it's just a beautiful, wonderful thing that you can cut also and put in a vase, watch them unfurl. But this particular one, it has branches that are curved all over the place, and as it grows, it's quite an architectural beauty. And usually all the foliage falls off, but not this year. But it's quite stunning as far as the buds, just the buds all over it are beautiful. Witch hazel is a fabulous winter blooming plant. Comes in various shades, but guess what? It's not a typical flower. It is much more interesting, and they are fragrant. Some are more fragrant than others. This particular one, Arnold's Promise, I think is the most fragrant, but they start like these little tiny, almost 10 bubbles all over the plant that slowly turn into these yellow flowers as they emerge as it warms up. Different kind of look to have these fringes all over a bush, and it's just like sunshine. Speaking of things that are to come, even the buds of the pieris, the lily of the valley shrub, are just very ornamental this time of year, and these are only the buds that are just going to burst forth with beautiful white flowers. Manzanitas are blooming all around the town right now in January, and they are so sweet and so delicate, it seems impossible that they would bloom at this time of year. So the other thing about manzanitas is the architecture of their stems as they grow and the smoothness of their bark. It's really quite beautiful. It's almost satiny. So we built this beautiful tea house, this beautiful glass greenhouse for all sorts of fun things. That caused us to want to actually create a new garden in front of it, which had been in place over here for many years but needed updating. So what we did was we took out a bunch of things and we put in some kind of miscellaneous types of things with lots of open space so that we could take a good look at it in the winter and decide, okay, this is what we want to have here, this is what we want to have there. An interesting thing that did occur is we have kind of this end of yellow. We have a euonymus that has yellow tips, and the flowering maple is yellow, and the euphorbia behind it, the alstroemeria that's going to grow up and be taller with all sorts of yellow blooms. That's going to be kind of the foreground to this beautiful dark-leafed razzleberry back here, this loropetalum. So this whole end, we kind of have this burgundy and yellow combination going on. So that incorporates some of the heuchera that are growing along the side, and this Acana ground cover, this dark ground cover, that will be all part of that look. But now we are at the point where we need to fill in the blanks. So that'll be our next thing to do. So sometimes when you're planting, you might have cut something back and forgotten about it, and then you plant a shrub right nearby, and then it grows up, and then the thing that you forgot about also grows up, and it's too close. So now we are going to cut this back and move it over so that they each have their own space. But things like that can happen if you forget where things are, and that's okay. Plants really don't mind being moved all that much. So this really is the absolute best time of year to look in your garden and notice the areas that you want to be different. With so many foliage colors and so many flowers that you could probably achieve it all in a plant. But sometimes if you have a larger space, you just want the diversity. You want to change up the textures as well as the colors. And so there's just endless world of plants to play with, and it should be fun. It's your creative juices that are going to be emerging that you never knew you had. So this is the time to really play with plants and see what the possibilities could be in your own garden.